You are now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. How have you found that, Tess, in your career? Have you noticed that often you're looking up to people who have achieved it that are maybe men and actually learning from them as well?
I'd say the people that have really developed me have been a mix of both. I think the thing that would join them together, though, is the characteristics of honesty and an ego that's not overinflated. And we know you have to be choiceful of finding those people, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, the right level of ego. I think, that, I think we also need to be careful that we don't make ego a bad thing, because that can compel and drive us. But when it's inflated and it's all about me or them, then it's really unhealthy. And so I've had mentors and, people around me, in a variety of settings that, with the benefit of hindsight, I can look back and go, my goodness, I've learned so much from you. An example, again, I shared this in my my piece last week, and I still can't believe I had the audacity to do this. But in the same organisation I just mentioned a moment ago, rough around the edges, as I've just explained, like this driver, this woman on a mission, and her success formula is just get your head down and go. And I was going for a promotion in this organization, so I'm relatively early in. And it's a very sophisticated and an organization that I got loads of value from, hence staying 16 years. And you got quite an intellectual brief as part of the interview process for this job that I thought I really want to go for. And this courageous, maybe blindsided person, i.e. me, I rocked up to the top floor of the building and I knocked on the door of the CEO. I can't still quite believe I did that. And let me paint a picture of the CEO. He's not a very large man in terms of his height, but in terms of his aura and his presence, he was huge and phenomenal in the sector. This is the magazine publishing industry. Wow. Phenomenal, completely drove the value in the supply chain of how product got to market, not just in the UK, but globally. So he really was a leading light in the industry. Of course, I didn't know the magnitude of his brilliance, but I knew he was like a very self-contained, a very, astute man who you didn't see walking around the building. He sat in his office and he did his thing. So he's very private, very intense. And there I am in my naivety, coming from a place where everyone knows everyone. So that was pretty normal to me. And before I knew it, I'd knocked on the door, and his name was Jeff. And I said, I've got this interview and I've no idea what I'm going to talk about, but I know that you have been here for a long time and this is clearly something that you know. Would you mind helping me?
Wow.
And I have to say, going back to some people just leave their ego to one side, he spent an hour with me, completely unprompted, no meeting in the diary, which is, of course, what you would normally do for a CEO. And I know that. He spent an hour with me, and thankfully I got the job. But this was the feedback where the rough diamond piece came.
Wow.
And I got a gorgeous handwritten letter from him afterwards. I'm really proud of you that you've landed this one.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. Never forget that. It was so valuable. So I think, yeah, regardless of what gender, if the ego can be put to one side and you can have a philosophy of let's set people up for success, which is core to my why, then I think we can learn loads.
Wow. And do you know what I find really interesting about that, Tess, is that both of us went, oh, no, you didn't. Well, actually, why couldn't you?
Yeah.
Let's play devil's advocate. I'm a massive believer in if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yes.
And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that wanted to do that, but thought, oh, no, I can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the ego, which is obviously keeping us alive, by the way, the ego is trying to go, no, Tess, you can't do that. Why would you possibly do that? What will he think? What will he say? Yes. Actually, he was very grateful. And let's be honest, part of what he taught you probably did help you get that job, if 100%. Not the majority of it.
Absolutely.
So